ever wonder why black people are the only demographic that votes 90% for the Democratic Party for the last 70 plus years and still haven't been able to achieve the things that they need to achieve in terms of their neighborhood schools, especially in heavily Democratic areas like DC, Chicago, Detroit, heavily Democratic areas that have the lowest economic opportunities. The education system is crap. Neighborhoods are impoverished. And yet we still continue to vote 90% more very faithfully for the last 70 years for the Democratic Party and not get anything out of it. No other demographic is doing this. Not Hispanics, no one. We are. At some point, you got to connect the dots. You see, there is no leverage in voting for the same party every election, year after year after year. There's no leverage. It gets to the point where the Democratic Party doesn't even have to put anything on the table to get your vote. And they're always dangling reparations as a carrot, in spite of the fact that at some point they've had control of the executive branch, the legislative branch, everything, and still not able to get reparations passed. Ask yourself, why? Why? When they were able to control all levels of government, still can't put reparations in and pass it. You either know the game or you don't. You either know how to play the game or you don't. You either know how to discern when you're being played or you don't. The fact of the matter is there'll never be a reparations bill, partly because the issue in and of itself is the game plan for the Democratic Party. It is a perpetual issue, and they want to keep it a perpetual issue to get into office. This is among other things that they do to dangle ridiculous things like DEI. And yet, most black people aren't even benefiting from that. DEI is really benefiting every other so-called marginalized group except black people. But black people are the face of DEI. And you got to wonder why. Connect the dots already. You're a convenient scapegoat. Black people are convenient. I mean, we get a lot of things done in our community, and that's why we're used so much by the Democratic Party. And there's no point listening to people, pundits, and the Al Sharptons of the world, the Congress people, Maxine Waters. Look at each and every one of their districts, like Maxine Waters, Jasmine Crockett, all these upcoming new so-called, up-and-coming Congress people and senators. Look into their districts and see how they look. And tell me, are they in it to help their community, or are they in there just to make a lot of money? Like Maxine Waters. For the last 40 years, this woman has been in office, and her district looks like crap. Don't take my word for it. Just go on there and look. For those who come from her district, take a look around and scan your own community and tell me if I'm lying. These people are in office because they're getting paid. They're getting paid to corral black people to vote for the Democratic Party. I don't know how else to explain it. You either know it or you don't. You either see it or you don't. I mean, aren't you getting tired of being used? Don't you understand how to leverage your power? You use both parties to get the things that you want. You don't just blindly vote for the same party every election cycle and expect some kind of change. And the whole time they're making you the face of the struggle and the oppression, and you're getting nothing out of it. I mean, every other group can come in there. The Asians got an anti-hate bill. We couldn't even get that for the last 100 and some years when they were lynching us. The alphabet community was able to get great strides as far as their ability to get the things that they worked for using our blueprint. And yet we're the face of all this, and we haven't gotten anything. These immigrants coming into the country, we're taking resources from black communities, not rich suburban white communities. Figure this out. Connect the dots already. You're being played. You've been played for a long time by the Democratic Party. And you will continue to be played by the Democratic Party if you don't figure this thing out. I mean, a lot of people have talked about this, and yet black people are just, they run on emotion. They don't run on, their ability to see things for the way they are. And this is why you're used, because you're so emotional about these things. You can't discern and figure out, you know what, let's play both sides. Let's play it like everybody else is playing it. We don't give a vote and expect nothing. They either are going to deliver or you start voting for the other side. And when the other side starts acting up, you put pressure on them. But this blind leading and blind voting, just because your grandma voted Democrat, just because your great-granddaddy voted, that is not intelligent voting. You're not giving yourself any leverage. You're allowing a whole party to use you as a collective. And then at the end of the day, you're not getting it. Everybody else is getting a piece of the pie but black people. And you're becoming the face of these movements that don't even benefit you in any great way. Not in a great collective way for anybody that looks like this. You're being used. I mean, connect the dots already. If you can't figure this out, I don't know what to say. I mean, people will come for me, call me a coon or whatever it is, but, I'm not going to just give my vote away carelessly. And I've stopped listening to these race hustlers years ago because I already saw that they were in it just for the money. They were in it just to gain black. They're used by other powerful people to corral black people into voting a certain way. You either know this stuff, you either see this stuff, or you're just out there in space and you're just voting blindly because, Jasmine Crockett can, dance and tap dance for the white man to corral you to vote, to support her. And she'll be the face of the Democratic Party, like Kamala, and then you'll lose. Because nobody ain't going to vote for her. Nobody in great numbers except for black people are going to vote for her. So here we go, rinse and repeat. You're going to put another loser on the ticket for the Democratic Party and the presidential candidate for 2028, and you're going to lose again. That's if she can get through the primary. I mean, this. If it wasn't so pathetic, it'd be comical. If this whole thing wasn't so pathetic, I wouldn't be sitting up here on TikTok wasting my time talking to the ethers out here. Thank you for those who support it. Others, you just figure this out. I mean, this isn't hard. This is just a matter of common sense. But then I guess common sense is not so common. I think there's just some people who get it, and then there are people who just don't. They just, they're going to do what they've always been doing because they're in a certain pattern of behavior, and they don't want to break away from it. They've listened to the wrong people for too long. They've allowed the left-wing media to gaslight them and rile up emotions and get you to vote out of fear instead of out of power, out of strategy. You're just throwing your vote away. And that's basically what black people have been doing. They've just been throwing their vote away for the last 70 plus years, not realizing that the very party that they think has their back really has been using them and exploiting them to a level that's so ridiculous. And the very few, the 8%, 7 or 8% that see it, they see it. And the 92, you're still on the plantation. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is.